Yeah, Rapshi, what's going on with A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf? It feels like there's some smoke there. Is there going to be any fire, and are those guys going to be, on a new team perhaps?
There is some smoke there. I mean, teams are calling. I know that. I haven't got the sense either organization has done anything to say that they would trade either A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf. Like, obviously teams are calling. And what I think happens now, guys, is you get great players who are not under contract, and everyone thinks they're available. Like, that's just where we are in the NFL. So, 3 years ago, nobody would ever call about DK Metcalf. You'd say, why would you ever trade one of your best players? Now all these GMs are like, oh, he's not under contract? Cool. Maybe I could trade for him, just like what happened with Tyreek Hill. So I think they want to get a deal done. I think they end up doing it. But until they do, teams are going to keep calling the Seahawks and the Titans as well.
So back in the day, I feel like, and I don't want to blame you guys, reporters, again, but
you will.
Yes.
Right.
Not everybody. Some. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, if a player was disgruntled at his team, he was painted as being like uncoachable. This guy hates this guy hates that. And other teams would almost be like, well, we don't want that in our building. And other fan bases would be like, yeah, we don't want that player to join us. Now it feels like there's quite a turn, like, oh, maybe it just doesn't work at this place and it'll work with us because we will treat him much better than maybe the last place. That has really been a shift, I think, in the narrative painting, right? And most GMs, I think, are starting to open their minds a little bit more. Like, just because it didn't work there doesn't mean it won't work here, which I think is great for the player, great for the game, and also good for all parties involved because some shit just doesn't work. You know what I mean, Ian?
This is the biggest trend of all the things that we've seen the last 3 or 4 years. This is the biggest to me, is guys basically are saying, I'm not thrilled with where I'm going to go, and I want to go someplace else, and nobody holds it against them. We are in an unprecedented age of athlete power. Even Devontae Parker, smaller deal, but even Devontae Parker wanted to go to the Patriots, made clear he wanted to go to the Patriots, and ended up...
Really?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
He hated Miami that much? He's like...
No,
yeah,
they were going
to
trade him anyway, but he was like, if I'm going to get traded, this is where I want to go. The Dolphins were able to get a good deal that made sense for them,
dude.
And they did it
2 times a year.
But you're right. Nobody holds it against them. You just say I feel like Jalen Ramsey kind of started this with the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah.
But people are like, you know what? You're not happy there. We can make you happy. I'm gonna get a great player.
Yeah, and it's worked out. I think for Jalen. Hasn't really worked out for Jacksonville. I bet you there's a lot of Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays watching Jalen Ramsey be a freak on the field, and everybody in Jacksonville that is a Jaguar fan to put the clown costumes on. We're like, yeah, that guy was on our fucking team, went to Florida State, and for some reason we treat him like a fucking asshole, and we're gone. And now he's gone or whatever. Like that, I think it's exposing a lot of programs, Ian. I think this is going to continue too. I think this is only going to continue, and it's great for players. I know fans, and especially old school fans, are like, they're saying how the game goes. Remember, it's not a game, it's a fucking business. You have to remember that this is a business at all times. The teams treat it that way. They'll cut the most popular player on the team if he's not at his best or performing up to whatever his contract's saying. It is a business, and I'm happy that the players are starting to treat it that way, but also we need some good continuity in places. Chemistry can't be built overnight, so I'm excited to see how the NFL kind of unfolds in this entire thing. Jalen Hurts is trying to recruit A.J. Brown to Philly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's happening right now?
Uh-huh.
A.J. Brown from...
Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah, the Titans.
Why would he be gone?
Stuff.
Yeah, he's been similar to some of the players that have kind of been moved around. He's been tweeting stuff that makes it seem like he is.
This is on Instagram here, obviously?
Yeah, these are, yes. And then there was a story about Jalen Hurts trying to recruit him to Bama, and obviously he ended up going to Ole Miss, but they stayed friends, and they're, close.
Really? I thought A.J. Brown was a massive piece of the whole puzzle down there in Tennessee.
It is huge piece. Very much so.
And he wants out. Is this the everybody wants money that wants a new deal type situation we're in right now?
Yeah, because he also is in the last year of his rookie deal, and he doesn't have a fifth-year option, just like DK Metcalf and McLaurin and Debo and all them.
So they're saying, hey, you guys are, if you're not going to give me an extendo, send me somewhere that will, and let me get off these books. AJ, how do you feel about that? And what do you think Vrabes feels about this?
I don't know. I mean, if you're not willing to sign him to an extension, then I guess you would want to get something out of him, wouldn't you, if you're going to trade him away?
I think that's kind of
But you want to have him for another year, though, too. That's another thing. Like,
Yeah, that's the pitch I think
So-
agents of mad players are trying to get. Like, hey, you're not going to you get a 4th rounder, 3rd rounder from this guy. You're not going to get anything in a year. You're going to have to pay him. He'll be happy. You'll be happy. That's the pitch they're saying, right? I mean, I guess. But the team's like, yeah, our team's better with fucking A.J. Brown on
Right.
the football field, though. So I don't understand completely.
With the Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams deal, I think both of those deals, like these guys are going to warrant $30 million a year now because of that. Like with the salary cap going up even more next year, like they're going to be asking for a lot of money.
Hey, that's awesome that there's no, you are whatever they will pay you. Mm-hmm. If somebody will pay you $230 million guaranteed, you should be proud of that and keep it moving. And if you're somebody in that position who maybe you know your team's not going to do that, but you look around and you're like, oh, they're desperate. Those people would do it.
Yeah.
I guess it's hard not to start looking like that. AJ at every single position, other than punter, obviously. No punters. I'm going to go over here. They're going to pay me. Well, probably not.
And a lot of these guys, too, like, I mean, not that it's all about the money, but they're going from situations where it's like, oh, you'd think he would want to sit. I mean, both.
Tennessee, number 1 seed in the AFC.
Exactly. And then Devontae and Tyreek Hill, like, both of those guys are going to arguably worse teams, but that's just not the case anymore.
Gumpy's head just popped up. What was that all about, pal?
What do you mean worse?
Well, I mean, Chiefs pretty solid. Finns haven't gone to the playoffs in a long time.
Times are changing, my friend.
No, you guys just sent a guy up to New England again.
They better win a lot of games in Miami this year.
Devontae better have a terrible year.
Hey, we're used to stinking. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
But you have a lot of hope now.
This is
Gump,
the
you have a
Browns.
ton of hope.
This is like the Browns, AJ.
Yeah. Super Bowl. Remember a couple years ago, they're winning the Super Bowl.
Last offseason.
Yeah.
They're going to the Super Bowl this past season. They're going to the Super Bowl, and then they did not make playoffs.
Pressure's on, Paul.
The pressure is on, Paul, down in Miami.
Nah, we're good. We'll be fine.
Also,
Yeah,
Big
you
Mike's
sound
at the
confident.
helm.
Pressure is on, he's on, welcome to Miami, where they send us.
How's he doing?
New England. No, I want to talk about something. DK Metcalf's on the move, huh?
feels like it, yeah. The Jets with the 10th pick is what everyone seems to be looking to.
And Zach Wilson, we think he is a guy or we don't think he's a guy, AJ? What do you think? You think he's going to be a guy?
If I had to pick right now, I'd say he is going to be a guy.
Me too. It feels like they're acting like he's a guy too.
yeah.
Like I feel like the coaching staff, the front office, it feels like New York is acting like, hey, this is going to be a guy. We don't know. I mean, Jets stink. So there's really, it's a tough conversation to dive into because if your team isn't good, are you ever going to be considered a good quarterback? Probably not. Like that's just kind of how it goes. So you got to hope that the entire program turns around. But it feels like they're treating Zach Wilson like he's a guy, AJ. Like honestly, and if he gets a number 1 like DK or something like that, that's only going to benefit that. But they're making that move because they like Zach. If that's the case, AJ, they're not going to waste
question.
that.
Yeah, we're saying, hey, this is our guy. We drafted him. We have ultimate trust in him. We want to give him every opportunity to have success. So yeah, why not bring in as much talent as you can? Because we know, hey, it's tough to win the league. So Zach Wilson coming in as a young kid, they need to somehow build his confidence, I think, and have like a good start to the season, the first half of the season, and then kind of ride that momentum to where people just get people to take you serious. I think that's what it's going to take.
Who was mentioning last year that Bob Saleh was hired because of his energy and because of like how upbeat he is.
Yep.
And then as soon as he's the head coach of the Jets, just like,
Yeah.
man, this sucks.
Guy lost 30 pounds during the season.
Golly, this stinks. Yeah, he's not eating again.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah.
His entire aura was why everybody loved him, why he was getting all these interviews. And then you go to a place that has just, been battled with suck for so long and it just drains him. I'm assuming he's like, hey, we're going to do a lot to get, my life is miserable now. I hate football all of a sudden. I love football just a year ago. We need to fucking get this thing going. I hope they do.
And if they get DK and like to you guys' point, they're at least giving Zach Wilson a chance because they have DK. They drafted Elijah Moore, who was a really good rookie last year, and then they signed Corey Davis to big money last year as well. So they have weapons, and they're giving him a chance. Like when you take him at number 2 overall, the least you can do is actually give him a chance.
Yeah, and he was linked with the Jets too because him and Elijah Moore were teammates at Ole Miss. And then if Zach Wilson is a guy, the AFC East all of a sudden is ridiculous because all 4 of them are young.
Well, also, I mean, the Dolphins are once again just loading up
Yeah.
Patriots. Why did that happen?